Workers' comp coverage from SFM includes 24/7 access to the SFM Work Injury Hotline. How does a simple telephone call translate into expert healthcare advice, seamless incident reporting, and peace of mind for SFM policyholders? Let's take a look. Let's say you have a box. A heavy one. Well, maybe a bit heavier. That's better. And let's also say that you have a good employee. His name is Bob. Now, Bob walks along and sees the heavy box.
What's this doing?
And Bob decides he's going to tidy up a bit and put the box back on the shelf where it belongs.
Uh-oh.
But what happens if Bob hurts his back? Well, Bob has options. He could, of course, tough it out and go back to work.
It's not that bad.
But what if it gets worse?
Ow.
That's not good for Bob, and that's certainly not good for his company. Now we're talking lost time, lost wages, insurance claims, potential litigation, and that's not good for anyone.
That's not good.
Or he could go see what his supervisor has to say, who may or may not have had the same injury 16 years ago when he was a star football player for State College.
I hurt my back.
Hurt your back, huh? I had that once.
But what is the supervisor going to do? Is he medically trained to make a decision? Probably not, so he drops the workers' compensation ball
Maybe we should get this looked at.
and decides to drive Bob off-site to the emergency room to get immediate assistance. And we all know what happens when the ER gets involved. A bill is generated, a claim starts, workers' comp, case management, indemnity, and so on. And poor Bob, we didn't forget about him, is still waiting to be seen at the ER.
Probably just busy.
Don't worry, Bob. Someone will be with you shortly.
Just a couple minutes, I'm sure.
Now let's look at a different scenario. What if Bob's company had workers' compensation coverage from SFM, which includes a 24-hour nurse hotline provided in partnership with MedCore? And let's say Bob sees that same box again.
What's this doing here?
Sorry, Bob. This will be the last time.
Uh-oh.
And because SFM and its agency partners trained Bob's company on what to do when an injury occurs, Bob goes immediately to his supervisor.
I hurt my back.
Hurt your back, huh?
And the supervisor immediately calls the SFM Work Injury Hotline. And within seconds,
This is Kathy, registered nurse. How may I help you?
the supervisor and Bob are put in touch over the phone with a registered nurse. And in the end, it turns out Bob's injury isn't all that bad.
Phew.
And he's able to self-treat his injury with the proper instructions that the registered nurse gave him. And then Bob thanks the nurse.
Thank you.
And the supervisor thanks the nurse.
Thank you.
And Bob is able to stay at work, all because Bob's company had the SFM Work Injury Hotline. Now, sometimes workplace injuries are serious, and employees need off-site health care. So if Bob's injury were more severe,
Ow.
the nurse would have suggested to Bob that he see a medical provider. In those kinds of circumstances, the nurse will make a referral to the employer's preferred provider network, recommending the appropriate level of care so employees don't end up in the emergency room if they don't need to be there. MedCore was the first to offer injury triage back in 1997 and continues to lead the field of injury triage with its innovative software and patented processes. Today, MedCore serves over 150,000 client locations. Last year, MedCore's call center received more than 200,000 injury triage calls. MedCore has physician oversight, experienced registered nurses, and a URAC-accredited health call center. Now, SFM is among the first insurance companies to bring the advantages of a work injury hotline to its workers' compensation policyholders as a standard service. That means access to the best care at the right time. The goal is to get injured workers the best available medical care as early as possible, while freeing the supervisors from making medical decisions. This helps policyholders reduce costs while eliminating guesswork, waiting, and liability. We do this by advising the most appropriate level of treatment to injured employees. Best of all, employees receive guidance from experienced, specially trained nurses directly in the workplace in the moments after an injury occurs, and all of this with physician oversight. The Work Injury Hotline is an extension of SFM's commitment to delivering exceptional service to policyholders and their employees. Learn more about workers' compensation coverage from SFM at sfmic.com.